Ray Dalio, a legendary investor, is the founder and CEO of Bridgewater Associates, the world's largest hedge fund. As a global macro investor, he has over 45 years of experience. Ray is the author of the New York Times bestselling book Principles, Life and Work, which reached #1 on the bestseller list. Dalio's investing decisions are based on his macroeconomic reading rather than abstract financial statistics. He's particularly interested in how central bank interest rates are now hovering around zero. First, Ray Dalio predicted the financial collapse of 2008. Then, he projected that the COVID epidemic would put years of the financial burden on the U.S. economy. Now, the 72-year-old billionaire investor is predicting a new economic disaster, and he wants you to be ready. Because we prefer stimulation to constraint, short-term debt cycles build up to a long-term debt cycle, and debts climb relative to incomes for a long time. And to maintain this, central banks cut interest rates until they reach zero. They'll be in a pickle if they hit zero and have a high debt-to-GDP ratio. The dominant power becomes the world's dominant economic power, and as a result, it becomes the world's largest trading country, bringing its currency with it. Because other countries wish to save in that currency, it becomes the world's reserve currency. And of course, they lend that currency to the reserve currency country when they save in it. As a result, they have the pleasure of accumulating even more debt. As a result, debt levels begin to climb. It was the last time this happened in 1930. As a result, you'll notice that these things tend to happen. You're in a scenario where you're over-indebted and losing money. So how are you going to pay off that debt? Do you repay it in hard currency or print money to repay it? It starts to lose value. That's usually the balance between depression and inflation, and practically every time in history, more money is printed when that option gets picked. The desire to print money without constraints is similar to what we witnessed in 2020. Whatever occurs, Dalio has a simple premise for tackling future events. He said on Friday, "If you worry, you don't have to worry. And you'll have to worry if you don't." He claims that worrying causes you to take a closer look at your particular risks and motivates you to take action. Tip 2. Assess your risks. One danger is location, which refers to the physical location where you live and work. Dalio included a health index that ranks a dozen countries based on 18 characteristics, such as debt burdens, military strength, and economic production in his book. He plans to build a website with real-time copies of the data as a platform for people to assess risks and form strategies on where to live and invest. Evaluate your economic risk in inflation-adjusted terms rather than today's currency, he said. However, this does not imply prioritizing other assets over a savings account or vice versa. In these turbulent times, you need a stable, well-diversified portfolio to support your emergency reserves, according to Dalio. Tip 1. Diversify your portfolio. The first stage in building a robust portfolio, according to Dalio, is to evaluate your existing investment strategy to determine how many weeks you could survive financially if you lost your job. It's always a good idea to figure out the worst-case situation and prepare for it, Dalio added. Then check to see if all of your money isn't in one spot. Cash isn't a safe investment, Dalio said, as inflation in the United States reached a 31-year high. Instead, he advised on Friday that investors diversify their portfolios as much as possible, including inflation index bonds, instead of common bonds and physical assets such as gold. Those who enjoy Bitcoin or those who like gold, he continued, should not make it an all-or-nothing decision. Global situation. We must accept the potential of armed action. In Ukraine, for example, there's a problem. Within the following few months, we'll learn more about this. Secondly, we will see how countries align. Right now, there are more conversations about picking a side. You'll have to choose a side one way or another. As a result, we'll see how those teams are chosen. I believe we're on the verge of a war with China, Dalio said in a live stream. Most of it is due to misunderstandings. Dalio acknowledged that his predictions aren't facts and that he's been wrong in the past. However, he believes that future disasters are unavoidable based on historical patterns over the last 500 years. In other words, if an impending confrontation between the United States and China does not destabilize the economy, something else would. Over the next 6 months or less, all of this will become clearer. While you speculate what the future will mean for you, click like, share, subscribe, and stay updated on the latest topics. Thank you for showing your support. Let us know some more tips to prepare for an economic crisis in the comments. We'll see you in the upcoming video. Till then, stay safe.